Sis look, ooh. Girl, sis looks snatched. I look like I'm about to be in like a wedding or something. I got my little robe on. I just look like I need to Vogue or something. What's up guys, Miss P here, back with another video featuring natural sunlight, okay? Now artificial light that I normally be using, this is all natural and I love it. If I wasn't such a night owl and didn't film at night, I would get up and do it while this, because this just looks beautiful. I just love it. It just looks clean, crisp, and I look like I need to go out somewhere, but ain't nowhere to go because it's quarantine times. But this is the look I came up with here. This is a soft glam look. Nothing too fancy, just a little bit on the eyes. I didn't do even like my whole normal face routine. I did the majority of it. I just didn't like do a heavy contour because I don't really feel the need to do a heavy contour with soft glam, and I definitely didn't color correct or anything like that. But if you want to know how to do a more soft glam look that you can do more of like of an everyday thing or just for like light occasions, then just keep on watching. So first I'm going to go in with a dark brown shade. I'm just going to start packing this on into the crease area. I'll make sure to put all the products that I'm using in the description box below. I'm just going to continue to pack that color on also into the outer corner of my eye as well, using more of a swirling motion. That way I get more of a perfect blend, and then I'm just going to continue to do that, going back in a couple times with the dark shade and then blending it out a little bit towards the outer edges. Next I'm going to go in with a lighter brown right on top of that dark brown shade to blend out the edges a little bit more. And then I'm going to take a much darker brown and I'm just going to apply this on the outer corner of my eye to give the eye look some more depth. And then I just went back in with that light brown that I used previously just to kind of buff out the edges and make sure everything blends together seamlessly. Okay, now I'm going to apply a little bit more concealer. I'm not cutting the crease. I'm not trying to do anything too sharp or crisp at this point. I just want to apply a little bit more concealer. That way when I go in with the glimmer shade later, it has a little bit more something to stick to and it shows up a little bit more vibrant. Now I'm going in with that glimmer shade. Like I said, I'll put all of the products that I use and the shades from the palettes in the description box below. I kind of filmed this video a few days ago and I don't really remember exactly what palettes and stuff I use. I gotta go back and look at that, but I'll make sure that I put those in the description, and I'm just going to apply that shade right on top of where I applied all that concealer. That way I get the best color payoff as possible. Okay, so now I'm going back in with that first shade that I applied just so I can blend all the colors together, making sure the glimmer blends in with the dark brown and the dark brown blends in with the lighter brown, and so on and so forth. Next I went in with a brow highlight just to give a little bit more oomph to the look, and I just used my fingers to blend it out. To me, I think sometimes your fingers, your hands are your best tools than using brushes and stuff, long as they're clean. So after I applied a coat of mascara, you know I'm going to go in with them lashes. Lashes are hard for me. This is not something that I've fully mastered yet. So if you are also someone who hasn't mastered lashes yet, don't fret. For me, it was one of the hardest things for me to be able to learn, and some days I get it perfect the first time and some days I struggle. But like I said, it's a learning process and it will get easier with time. You just kind of like gotta fidget them on there. Sometimes you gotta move them around. Sometimes I have to take them completely off and start over, but eventually it works out.
Okay, so now that the eyes are finished, I'm going to go in with my first step from my face routine. My skin has already been prepped with moisturizer, so I'm going straight in with a primer. I personally like to put my primer on and blend it out with my fingers. I just like using the warmth from my hands to really work it into the skin. And then I'm going to apply my foundation with this flat top kabuki brush, and I start out with some stippling motions and just kind of go all over my face, and then once I get all the stippling motions in, I go in with more of a swirling technique to really buff it into the skin. Okay, so now I'm going to apply my concealer, and I'm going to apply the concealer underneath my eyes, on the bridge of my nose, on my forehead, and on my chin area. And then I'm just going to blend that out with my Real Technique sponge. Typically, I would also apply some concealer underneath where I normally contour, just to carve the contour out, but since this is more of a soft look, I didn't want to do that and put so much heavy foundation on since the look is supposed to be pretty soft.
I also like to go in with another type of concealer, and I just put a little bit towards the tear duct of my eye and on the bridge of my nose just to highlight a little bit more. Typically this shade is even a little lighter than the shade that I use to normally highlight. It's just a personal preference. It's just something that I like to do.
So using that same sponge, I'm going to go in with some setting powder, and I'm going to apply that around the areas that I highlighted. However, I'm also going to apply it underneath where I would normally put my highlight with my contour, just because it will highlight that area a little bit since this is a yellow powder, but it won't highlight it too much or carve it out too much since there's no actual highlight that I use with concealer. And then I'm just going to take off the excess powder with this little brush here. I'm also going to go in with another setting powder, the Mercier Eye Brightening Powder. I just put that in the inner corner of my eyes just to give the inner corner of my eye a little bit more pop. And I tend to get a little bit more oily there, so I always apply a little bit more powder there. Then I'm going to go in with my contour on this fluffy brush here, and I'm just doing a little patting motion, nothing harsh, just because I don't want to make too harsh of a contour. And then I'm going to use this even fluffier brush, and I'm going to use it to set the rest of my face with another setting powder. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of blush with this brush here. I don't recommend using this brush. It's a little bit too dense, but I couldn't find my brush that I normally use for blush. That's definitely a tongue twister. Blush brush. And then after I apply my brush, I'm going to go in with this fan brush and apply my highlight as well. Okay, now that the face is pretty much done, I'm going to go back and finish up the eyes. I'm just going to take two of the shades that I used on my eyes, that first brown shade that I applied and the second one that I use in the outer corner, and I'm just going to apply that to my lash line. And then after I finish that, I'm going to apply a little bit of an inner highlight. I'm going to use the same shade that I use on to highlight the brow bone. I'm going to put that in my tear duct area, and then I'm just going to apply some mascara to my bottom lashes. So last but not least are the lips. I'm outlining my lips in a lip pencil from NYX. I don't remember the exact shade. I'll put that in the description box below. And I'm going to use one of the NYX Lip Lingeries to fill in that area, and then I'm going to apply gloss on top.
And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know the drill. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.